Hello, this is Bob Passy again. Here we are, another 4th of July Independence Day is upon us, and our nation is hardly representing the kind of independent democratic spirit that was the strength and the founding principle of this nation. Although the moneyed people have always been trying to sort of manipulate it into their control and have often succeeded, the ideals of democracy still are the ones that we all grew up with, and the ones that the ordinary people fought wars for and died for and made sacrifices for and believed in and basically set their futures on. That has all begun to disappear, and we have the economic elite making decisions for everyone else. Hardly a democracy, a plutocracy at best, and moving toward an authoritarian kind of regime that none of us would want to be a part of if we had an option. So it's time to rethink where we're going and how we're going about it. Right now, there's big chunks of the country that are angry and frustrated and resisting what the new president is trying to do and the new Congress, because they're destroying the foundations of democratic society in so many ways. Many people are angry and frustrated and fighting against things. What we need is to find something to be for. It doesn't mean you should stop resisting the changes and slowing them down, but we need an alternative that's a positive alternative. And one of the ideas, it's being modest, I would say perhaps the best idea I've ever had. I've always believed in democracy my whole life, and I've grown up with those principles, and I honestly believe in them. And so I was trying to think of how to do something positive that wasn't confrontational necessarily, wasn't militant exactly, but it gave the people of this country an opportunity to stand up and be counted on for something that they honestly believe in and want to return to. So the idea is spreading a concept, a kind of grassroots citizens movement called Demonstrating for Democracy. And that is really about finding ways to, with your friends and neighbors, or even by yourself, to simply stand up and say, I am for democracy, and this is what I think would make democracy work. And to find, it's the kind of idea that, it's kind of like an open idea. Anybody in any location, a small town, rural area, city, nation, whatever, can simply get people together and begin to go out and demonstrate for democracy. All they have to do is say, we believe in democracy. There's no big risk, there's no confrontation. I don't know how the police are going to come out and say, no, you can't be demonstrating for democracy. Maybe they'll find a way, but it's a pretty non-threatening idea, although it is threatening to the economic elite and the autocracy. But it's an opportunity for people on every level, in any way, small, large, whatever, to begin to form a unified big tent kind of idea that allows everybody from Black Lives Matter to the people who are demonstrating against the oil companies and the fossil fuel industry, to be able to come together and say, you know, what we all believe in is that we need to move back to a democracy. We need to move back to the 99% or the 100%, making the decisions together and not have a 1%, a small group deciding everything for us. We're going to stand up and we're going to say, This is what we believe in. If everybody, for instance, went out in the streets and simply said, we're demonstrating for democracy and we want a single-payer plan. See, it's powerful, it's overwhelming, and it allows for growth. Maybe there's 10 people the first time, maybe there's 20 people the next time, maybe there's 50 people the next time, maybe there's 100 people, maybe there's 1,000 people. But people will see that everybody's up to the task of standing up and saying, this is the will of the citizens of this nation. And once the politicians and the people in power see that overwhelming number beginning to grow, it will be very, very, very hard for them to simply ignore it. They are elected, after all, and they don't want to see themselves as being opposed to democracy, of all things, or to the will of the citizens of this country. Right now, they get away with doing things that almost nobody agrees with. But people don't stand up in a unified group and let them know what they really want. So this is a way to put that idea out there and allow it to grow, allow art to begin to form, and music, and creative ideas, and 1,000 ways that people can begin to band together. And overall, there's a way for everybody from all of the organizations, from all of the groups that are now mostly trying to prevent things from happening, to also be a part of something that is a positive citizens movement that will begin to grow and show an overwhelming voice of what people really want in this country, without necessarily being confrontational or threatening. And I just want to put it out there and let it grow. Let it grow. And I hope that people will begin to take this idea and run with it. It can be small, large, everything else, and hopefully all of the groups will see a benefit. They don't have to let go of their particular issue in order to be a part of, so they can see what they're doing as being a part of demonstrating for democracy. It's a big tent, everything included, inclusive, run by democratic principles, and it doesn't have to have one person in charge. It doesn't have to have a committee in charge. It can be just really simply a grassroots movement. Now, there may be people who will organize in smaller groups, but it doesn't have to wait for a large organization to give permission or anything else. Nobody needs to give you permission. You can do this on your own, and you can stand up for citizenship and community, and mostly for democracy, and say, this is what we want. Once people begin to do that, what will happen is the base that the establishment relies on for tacit consent to allow them to do what they're going to do is going to quickly erode, and they're going to see that what they thought was kind of people won't mind, or people won't say anything if we do this additional bad thing. They will see that something else is growing, and it's a positive thing, and we can work on that together, and we can make it visible to our friends and neighbors, visible to the country, and visible to the world. Actually, this is an idea that could spread all across the world. So I want to have you think about the idea of demonstrating for democracy as a unifying principle for a citizens movement, a grassroots citizens movement in this country. And if this sounds like something that would be good to attend to, good to participate in, please like this and share it, and say to your friends, it isn't about me, it's about the idea, the movement, the possible movement of demonstrating for democracy. There's 1,000 ways to do it. It can be about an issue, it can be just generally about demonstrating for democracy, but I want to put that idea out there, and hopefully it will be useful. Thank you. Bye.